I think we need to basically deal with reality. They're here, they're coming here, they are coming to work, and they are getting employed.
Answering the question, I'm asking you, does that personally make sense to you as an adult male, an individual, that these people are coming in illegally and we're rewarding them? Does that make logical sense?
I don't know what you mean by rewarding them.
By giving them driver's license, free stuff, taking care of them, and all that.
We are taking care of them.
Logical sense.
Yes, it makes sense.
So if somebody broke into your house, rather than putting them in jail, you would reward them?
No, that is a completely different situation.
Our country is our home. How is that different?
Well, I think that's sort of a rhetorical point. That doesn't reflect the reality.
What?
They are here. It's, if you want to round them up and send them home, that would cost a lot more than it costs to provide them with the support they need to become members and to remain members of the community.
But I don't want them to become members. I want
Well-
them to round them up and send them.
Well,
Do you consider yourself a liberal or conservative?
Well, I don't consider myself a conservative, but liberal. It depends on how you define liberal and what subjects you're talking about.
And why not conservative?
Well, I think the conservative movement today just does not speak to me. It's exclusionary. It's I think it's bigoted. I don't think it's got a great deal of intellectual power.
When you say it's exclusion, what do you mean? Give me an example of what you mean.
Well, I think the conservatives in Congress, the conservatives in the White House, really are aimed at promoting, I think, the establishment, the wealthy white community, and they are really aiming themselves at reducing opportunities for minorities, people of color, everyone from the middle class on down the economic ladder. They're removing those opportunities, which I think are the opportunities that America was based on.
And so what have they done to indicate that?
I think if you look at the policies, healthcare policies, housing policies, immigration policy, I think that all indicates that.
Are you saying that the conservative want the minorities and others to earn their own way, or should they be given stuff?
No, it's not a matter of giving minorities stuff. It's not a matter of asking them to earn their own way. I think we all want everybody to have the chance to earn their own way. But I think we have to acknowledge that opportunities are not equal in American society. And I think it's actually government's role to make sure that those opportunities are equal so that minorities do have the opportunity to earn their own way.
How can they make something equal?
Well, certainly they can provide, they can fund education better, and provide.
Give them free education?
Well, we all have free education, don't we?
Do white people get free education?
Everybody gets free education, but
Pay for it?
well, we pay for it through taxation, but the schools in minority districts, the schools in lower economic districts are being cheated and deprived of their fair share of the resources that are needed to make education equal.
By whom?
By government.
So are you saying that the white conservative people are not giving the money to, who are the minorities? When you say minorities, who are you referring to?
Well, I'm referring to blacks, Latinos, other ethnic groups. I think we know who we're talking about.
And so are you saying that the white Republicans are not giving the money to the blacks and Mexicans and others to get an education?
I think their policies contribute heavily toward unequal educational opportunities, unequal educational quality in minority communities as opposed to white communities. And I think it is government's role to ensure that equality of resources and equality of opportunity.
What I know of, the money that the government is given to the minority students are being used and kept by the so-called leaders, especially in the black community. The money comes in, but they use it for their own themselves, their own personal gain, rather than improve the schools. How can the government prevent? How can the white government prevent that from happening?
Well, if you're talking about corruption in the school districts, the white government can enforce the law. But I don't quite,
in jail?
well,
in the
by
prison
enforcing against corruption, whatever is necessary, we have laws that are designed to prevent the diversion of these resources by individuals wherever they are.
And so are the minority more apt to be corrupt than the whites?
No, I don't
So
think
why
I
do
said
most
that.
of the money reach the white schools? Is it because the whites are not stealing the money as the minority so-called leadership?
No, I think it's because the system and the pattern of distribution basically favors white schools. It favors schools in more affluent districts over those in less affluent districts.
So I've noticed that there are liberals who are in government too, especially now in Congress, and they are making the money decisions. Are those white liberals and black liberals preventing the money from going to the black schools and so-called minority schools?
I'm not sure what you're really asking in terms of. I mean, you're asking me to generalize, but I don't think you can make that general point.
But you made it about the white Republicans. Why can't you make it about the white and black liberals?
Because white Republicans have been in power and hold the power today.
But they haven't always had the power.
No, they have not always had the power.
Yeah. So why didn't the white liberals and black liberals in government pass the money down to the minority?
Well, I think, I think you're making a mistake when you try to focus on individuals in the system and in power. I think what we have here is a system and a pattern that's been set up and that's evolved over years and years and years, and that is a system that basically favors inequality and that we need to change.
I wanted, before I move on, I had planned to ask you, why is it that liberal journalists are the only ones who receive Pulitzer Prize for the most part? Why is it so one-sided?
I don't think it is one-sided.
I don't know of any conservative who received them.
I can identify a couple to you right now.
Right, I can identify a handful, but most of them are liberals. Why is that?
I'd have to see the numbers. I don't agree with your premise.
Oh, you don't?
No,
Even if it's real, you don't agree?
I don't think it's real.
So, as a journalist in LA, I've noticed that there are homeless people everywhere. Everybody and their mama, right, are now living on the street. They're even bringing the illegal aliens in and dumping them on the streets, and then they ask us for more money to pay for it. What do you think about the homeless crisis that in America today?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say they're bringing illegal immigrants in and dumping them on the street.
Well, they made this state so-called sanctuary state, and then the government, the Democratic government, offered them free everything, free housing, free this, free driver's license, free health care. So they're seducing these people to come, and they end up on the streets. Why is that?
Well, Jesse, I don't think that's what's happening. People come.
Sanctuary state?
We are a sanctuary state, but I don't agree with
inviting the homeless illegal aliens to come in?
inviting them how?
By seducing them with free stuff.
Oh, well, look, immigrants, legal and illegal, are barred from getting many government assistance programs.
You said they are.
They are barred.
And when did that happen?
That's been the case since some of these programs were created. You have to be in this country for many years. You have to have a certain immigration residency status to be eligible for many of these programs.
They offer them, and I know for a fact that they're getting free education, they're getting free houses, they're getting free food, free health care, driver's license, what else can we give them? We don't have anything else to give.
Well, let's unpack that sort of point by point. One thing, free education. The educational system, K to 12 in this country, is free at the classroom.
But not for illegals.
It's free for everybody who's a resident, and the reason we do that is because it's to everybody's benefit, whether you are native born or a legal immigrant or an illegal immigrant. It's to the community's benefit to have educated members. Let's talk about healthcare. You don't want people in your community to be sick. You don't want them to contract communicable diseases. You don't want your child going to school with somebody who can't get health care and who brings a disease and sheds a virus in the classroom. Health care is a benefit for the entire community.
But I don't want that, but also don't want to pay for it. I want them to be responsible for themselves. Should I have to pay for it?
Yes, you should have to pay for it because it's a benefit to you.
But how about the illegal aliens who are coming in? They're bringing diseases and crimes and drugs and...
Well, all right. First of all, the crime...
Should I pay my tax dollars for them?
Crime among the illegal immigrant population is, in fact, the crime rate is lower than it is for the native-born population.
But only because there are more American
people
right now.
No, the crime rate.
But should I have to pay for one illegal to come in and bring drugs and crimes and diseases and stuff? Should my tax dollars go for an illegal alien?
I think your picture of what an illegal alien is here, why an illegal alien has come here, is not true.
What do you mean?
Well, people come here to work.
No.
Go to Home Depot, you can see them collecting in the parking lot. They are looking for work. They have a lower crime rate than the native-born population. They are here to work. Why do we want them to have driver's licenses? Do we want
It's possible for them to have a lower crime rate because they're breaking the law to come here, so they've already broken the law.
You're talking about street crime, drug use, that sort of thing.
But I'm talking about breaking the law to come too. We shouldn't reward criminals for breaking the law, right?
Well, look, we reward illegal aliens in many different ways because we employ them.
So should we reward them for breaking the law?
They are here. We need to provide them with services that benefit the entire community. Why do we give them driver's licenses? Do you want to talk about that?
Yes.
Well, all right. We give them driver's licenses because that's a way to make sure that they are trained to drive. They don't get driver's licenses just by asking for it. They have to pass the test.
So,
do you want drivers on the road with you who are driving without any training, without having passed a test, or do you want to be safer?
I would want to drive them back home, back to the country, not here, period. Does it make sense to you to reward a criminal? They break into your house and then you reward them. Personally, does that make sense to you? Not as a journalist, as an individual, does that personally make sense to you?
I don't think we are rewarding them for coming here. We are making sure that once they are here, they can develop into members of the community, and that's what I want. I want them to be productive members of the community.
I'm asking you not as a journalist, as a human being.
That's how I'm responding.
Personally makes sense to you that these people come into our country illegally, and rather than sending them back, we reward them. Does that make sense?
I think we need to basically deal with reality. They're here, they're coming here, they are coming to work, and they are getting employed.
Answering the question, I'm asking you, does that personally make sense to you as an adult male, an individual, that these people are coming in illegally and we're rewarding them? Does that make logical sense?
I don't know what you mean by rewarding them.
By giving them driver's license, freestyle, taking care of them, and all that.
We are taking care of them.
Logical sense.
Yes, it makes sense.
So if somebody broke into your house, rather than putting them in jail you would reward them?
No, that is a completely different situation.
Our country is our home. How is that different?
Well, I think that's sort of a rhetorical point. That doesn't reflect the reality.
Why
They
not?
are here. It's, if you want to round them up and send them home, that would cost a lot more than it costs to provide them with the support they need to become members and to remain members of the community.
I don't want them to become members. I want
Well-
to round them up and send them.
Well, they're
In
here.
the long run, isn't it cheaper to do it that way?
No, in the long run, it is more expensive.
No, because they're forever.
The fact is, we need immigrants in this. We do need
We got
them.
black people to do the jobs.
Even if every black of working age was employed, we would still need immigrants because we do not have enough to actually.
Amazing. I've noticed that when these illegals come in, they end up in the urban areas first. They eventually end up in the white suburban neighborhood, right?
Well, illegal aliens come in and they work in the agricultural districts.
They end up in the black community first, and they're taking jobs from the blacks. They're running them out of their own communities because they hate the blacks. They are overcrowding the public schools. There are black women who are citizens when they go to have a baby and they need the government facilities, hospitals or whatever. They can't get in because there are long lines of illegal aliens in there having babies for free. Does it bother you that illegal aliens are affecting blacks first and foremost? Are you bothered by that?
I'm not sure I agree with your.
If it's true, would you be bothered by that?
Well, I can't be bothered or not bothered by a hypothetical.
But
I mean, if you want to talk,
have you gone to Compton, California, or Watts, or East LA? The blacks have been forced out of their own community, and the Mexicans are taking over, especially illegal aliens. Are you bothered by that?
well, how do you know that the Mexicans who are moving into these communities are illegal?
Communities, and I know that they're illegal. I have Mexican friends who are telling me all the time that the illegals are taking over. Are you bothered that they are affecting the blacks first and foremost?
Well, as I said, I think you're presenting me with a hypothetical. I don't.
I'm not.
Well, all I can say is I don't see evidence in the numbers that that's really happening.
From that, you're a journalist. Why are you not seeing that?
Well, I'm not seeing it because I don't think it's so.
So I want to ask: are you worried about the outbreak of typhus and things like that that's happening right now as a result of all these illegals coming in?
I'm worried about the outbreak of typhus, but I'm not. But I don't see any evidence that it's actually associated with illegal.
But we
Immigrants.
only started to get it because we were done with that stuff. And once we let these people cross the borders unchecked, they're bringing in diseases, and I call them illegal alien diseases. Why is it that you can't see that?
First of all, what the numbers show is that the typhus pandemic that we're seeing now is developed recently, but it developed at a time when illegal immigration has been falling.
No.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
Yes.
You're just starting to hear about it because it's becoming an outbreak, but it's been there for a while. I've been knowing about it and aware of it for a while. It's just now so many people getting it, it's becoming like an emergency situation. But it just started when the illegal aliens things started to increase. What's the solution to that?
The solution to what exactly?
All these illegal alien diseases coming in.
Well, I don't see. I have not seen any evidence that illegal aliens are bringing in diseases on that scale.
The problems that we're having now, were they created by liberal policies or conservative policies?
Which problems are you talking
With
about?
the overwhelming illegal aliens coming in, the crime, the drugs, the homelessness, the violence against white people, you name it, is there now. Were those situations created by liberal policies or conservative?
Look, Jesse, I think you're painting a picture that's just distorted.
But it's
I
the
think-
Democrats who are running the state, right?
The Democrats are running this state.
Right.
Yes,
So
but
the
but
problem
as
we're
I
having
said,
in California, are they created by liberal policies or conservative?
well, which problems again are you talking
Illegal
about?
aliens and crimes and homelessness and drugs.
Look, the crime rate is falling. The rate of drug use is falling. People come here legally or illegally because they want to work. They are not coming here to commit crime. They're not coming here
What world
to
are you
take
living
drugs.
in? Where you live?
I'm living in the real world.
Well, where, do you live in the suburbs somewhere?
I do live in the suburbs, yes.
Oh, so you're protected from it, no wonder.
Just because I live in the suburbs
What is
doesn't
it
mean
like?
that I'm unfamiliar
I know
with
that you don't
conditions in
have
the
to-
inner city.
You don't have to suffer for it because you're protected behind the gated fence with the bodyguard. And the
I
guard.
don't have a fence around my house, and I don't have a
But you
bodyguard.
are protected in the suburb, right? You're not here to mess with us with it.
You know, there's a freeway system in this community. Anybody can get to my, you know,
I know,
to
but
my
the issue
community.
is you're not bothered by it because you're out there somewhere. Well, we're right in the midst of it, right?
Yeah, but I just think you are painting a distorted picture of why immigrants are here, why they come here illegally. They come to work, and they do work.
So are these issues created by liberal policies or conservative?
Well, as I said, I don't think these are issues. I don't think your picture of the issues is an accurate
Are
one.
you an honest man?
I think I am, yes.
Are you a Christian?
No,
What are you?
I'm Jewish.
So do you believe in God?
Yes.
How can you believe in God and not admit what is happening?
What does one thing have to do with the other?
You act like you're not aware of the emergency situation with the illegal aliens and the homelessness and why these things are happening. Why are you acting that way if you believe in God?
I don't think belief in God has anything to do with my perception of the reality out there.
Oh, so God doesn't give you a true reality of things?
Now, I think God does give me a true reality. That's the
Why
point
are
I'm
you
making.
denying them then if you believe in God?
Why do I disagree with your picture of the reality.